they recommended themselves. Reverend Howard's, it was a Reverend Howard study saying how they needed to reform themselves and they need to do things. Mark Hirschhorn, who's the one that created all the embarrassment with the athletic program, who's the governor, board of governor member, who's a trustee, who they never took care of that either. Look, they're having an emergency meeting tomorrow. For what? For what? They have a medical school now. They need to have more than the president of the university, have someone with healthcare experience. So, this is, them running and saying the sky's falling, and honestly, it's not. Nowhere in the bill does it do anything to hurt the trustees. The four new boards of governors members, they have a medical school now. We did the restructuring. I think it was extremely successful, the restructuring, and I think everyone noted it. They don't say it was successful because that would have to say that I had something to improve Rutgers. I did something to help Rutgers. So thanks. Listen, this is the fact that you have a major university that now has medical school, which moved its research designation from 58th to 22nd, and you don't have anyone with any expertise there. So what we're calling on is for them to have board members with healthcare background experience. 2 of them have to be alums from Rutgers. What's the big deal?
Understanding the Rutgers Act, as well as federal constitutional precedent, how in the world is this at all constitutional?
That would be left up to the courts, Senator. I'm not an attorney. Some people feel that this would be successful because laws are considered laws first when there's a challenge, so that if this passes the legislature, I think it has standing. Senator, we give this school $500 million a year, I think, and we just gave them $443 million in construction. Every single school in this state that's public, university and college, every single trustee is appointed by the governor with advice and consent, correct? So we're not screaming that Montclair State is being driven by politics. I think Montclair State's a phenomenal school that we're all proud of. We're not hearing that about Rowan, about TCNJ, or any other school. I haven't heard one person say TCNJ is riddled with politics and that they're controlled and governed by political appointees, or Montclair State, or Rowan, or Stockton. So, I mean, what is the fear? That's my point. What is the fear?
Well, through the chair, I didn't bring up anything to do with fear. I didn't bring up anything to do with partisanship. None of the other institutions you mentioned, with due respect to the chair, have direct appointments by either the Senate President or the Assembly Speaker. So all those other parallel examples you brought up are obviated by the nature of this very piece of legislation that you're trying to put forth today. So that's number one. But number two, the basic question, sir, with all due respect to the chair, is how does this pass constitutional muster?
And I said, we'll see it in court. And you know something? When you go to court, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. This school gets more funding than any other school in the state from the state of New Jersey. And its governance structure is, we've had that argument, and I don't back down from my opinion that we don't need 2 boards. This is the only school in the country that has 2 governance structures. 2. And I understand the date, and it's nice when you respect history, but I live in today.
And thank you for the opportunity to speak on S. 1860. This is a bill that is currently proposed that purports to address a problem that we feel does not exist. The need to expand the Rutgers Board of Governors to accommodate the appointment of individuals with backgrounds in the medical and health sciences. That was the principal reason we understand for the expansion of the board from 11 to 15 members 2 years ago under the New Jersey Medical and Health Sciences Education Restructuring Act. As you already have heard, there are currently two holdover public members of the board, and the term of a third expires at the end of this month. In a matter of only a few weeks, there will be 3 appointments for the governor and the Senate to concur on appointments placing the requisite medical and health sciences skill sets on the board. And this year, the Board of Trustees has one appointment to the Board of Governors, and the person that is being considered is a nationally recognized mental health professional with an earned doctorate in her field.
Many questions raised on a myriad of issues regarding experiences that have happened at Rutgers over the course of the last several years. That being said, that has nothing to do with the piece of legislation that's before us today. This piece of legislation is newly, not totally unprecedented regarding both the shaping of the board as well as the direct appointments by legislative leaders, which is unprecedented in the state of New Jersey. But simply put, this is in addition to all of those issues, this is a bill that is unconstitutional on state and federal grounds, and I don't think will do.
I believe this bill, there's some changes that can be made to this bill that will make it better, and I think to get more folks on board. I think sometimes having boards the size of 15, 17, 19 members become wily and become very difficult to make tough decisions. You've never been to a mayor and council meeting of 6 people in a room and they can't decide on little issues affecting their little municipalities with 6 members. So, and the decisions here are much greater. So I think there's some room for improvement to this bill all the way around. And I would hope that the sponsor continues to work with the Board of Trustees and the Board of Governors and the President of the university to make those changes. But to continue this process going forward, I'm gonna, as I support the restructuring plan, I'm gonna support this bill here today in committee.
Each and every one of the people in this room have a concerted and interest and a passion for Rutgers, and that's to be acknowledged and commended. Let me just say that I will be voting yes for the purpose of moving it out of committee, but I know that the Senate President will continue to work on this bill in order to ensure that we get the majority of the people who are in this room much more attuned, much more involved, and much more appreciative of the kind of changes that are going to be coming forth. Hopefully with the ongoing conversation and negotiation and communication with both the Senate President as well as all of the major stakeholders. With that, for today, I vote yes.
Thank you. I do want to say that I know that this is a difficult bill for a lot of people. This is not an easy decision for any of us here to make. I've received enough emails and telephone calls to my office to know that a lot of people still have issues with this legislation. I do urge the Senate President to continue conversations and discussions, and perhaps there will be amendments or whatever is necessary to make the bill more palpable to those of you who have serious problems with it. No one cares more about the southern part of the state in Camden, certainly, than Senator Sweeney. So I am going to give him the support that he needs in this legislation, with the urging that he continue discussions. So I vote yes.